this is the problem I have with conspiracy theories, is that you have to make tremendous leaps and tremendous assumptions to get to that point. And Occam's razor suggests, in the absence of evidence, the solution that makes the least amount of assumptions tends to be correct. And that is a very, very popular celebrity with his name in gold letters on tops of buildings was able to muster up more popular support than one of the most despised politicians in history, Hillary Clinton. And they wanted her to be in charge so that she could perpetuate these wars in the Middle East. And the reason I would say outright, I bring up the conspiracy theory because I think it's funny, but the reason I would just give my counterpoint as to why it's absolutely not true is the near complete reversal of deep state interventionist foreign policy under Donald Trump. It would make no sense if that was the case.
Right. I think the more likely conspiracy is the idea that they thought maybe at some level he could be a useful idiot. So I remember when he first was running, and there was this whole question, did the Clintons put him up to this? Is he doing this for more attention? Is he trying to make money off of this, right? And you just watch the actions, taking someone like you who certainly Obama literally said about Flynn, don't hire Flynn. This guy's dangerous. Why? Because he knows how the deep state works. He could have come in there and cleaned things out. Trump took you on. He didn't have to do that. I think at some level there was a hope that they could play him, and they did to a certain extent, but not fully, because even though they got a Bolton in there, but he wouldn't start. He wouldn't escalate. He wouldn't escalate against Iran. He wouldn't go to
before
war.
that. I'm sorry, Sean. Even before that, I think the placement of Mike Pence as a vice president. Trump didn't know him. I mean, so it's like the establishment. You put this modifying element person, into his orbit. I mean, so Trump won the presidency. Mike Pence became the vice president. Trump wins the presidency. So okay, good. Mike helped him win the vice presidency, but his position was to kind of be a modifying element or force within the White House to keep him calm, to kind of keep going along with the powers that be.
All the way to January 6th. And I think you'll see through the course of the series why the conspiracy worked, in the sense that Trump came in there with this attitude of, hey, why are we financing NATO? Hey, why can't we get along with the Russians? That was the biggest, that was the trigger point for them. They could not allow us to have good relations with Russia, which really could have stabilized a lot in the last 8 years. It would not have had the Ukraine war, as you know. And this conspiracy, as you know, with the FBI notes and other things, they had to set this Russian collusion thing up so that he could not do what he wanted to do before coming into office, which was to work with Russia.
And I know when we were doing the filming for this, I mean, one of the things that again, people, you gotta look at not just a blip on the screen. You got to look at the kind of the totality of events over time, and to really to make a judgment, to make a really strong, valid judgment on something. Instead of just assuming that these things occurred. So Russia's relationship with the United States of America during the Obama administration. I mean, we were working directly with the Russians in Syria. I mean, we're flying aircraft. They're flying aircraft. We're going after terrorists. They're going after terrorists. We're working together. We're communicating. I mean, it was like they had it was at least a half of a naval fleet. First time ever in the Eastern Med at the time that they're conducting operations where our military is working with them. During my earlier time in the military, after the collapse of the Soviet Union and the ending of the Cold War, we began to have what's called the Partners for Peace operations, right? I mean, we would have training exercises with them. I attended Command and General Staff College at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, and in my staff group was a Russian colonel, right? I mean, so there was all this outreach. We have actually had positive relations with Russia for a long time, and then all of a sudden, they became like the boogeyman again.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Culture War podcast. We're live every Friday, 10 a.m. to noon, so subscribe and come hang out.